Which one?
Shit. Lowercase. I have lowercase for the first name and last name.
All right, so unable to connect to chat.
Are you getting my Skype, DJ?
No.
I think it might be his Skype.
Why don't you try calling Hank instead?
Can't find him. I'm gonna try calling you.
No, call Hank. What's yours, Hank? Just Hank Cinnamon?
Yeah, Hank Cinnamon.
Make sure you do the capital H and the capital C, DJ.
Alright, then I gotta hang up then.
Alright, just hurry up and... Got like 1 minute, right?
Yeah. Well, I've started streaming on. That's like
On
just
YouTube?
just a
Okay.
way to one person watching. So we are currently trying to get DJ on, but it's not starting for another 5 minutes. So we will begin soon. Take this time to admire our excellent background.
Made by Patrick Cabrera.
Made by Patrick Cabrera. Take this time to just mesmerize yourself.
Is your Skype open?
Hold on. Mesmerize yourself in the beautiful landscape of the eagle and the raven and the brown.
Try calling him. No, see, he's the lowercase one. You might be the... You looked up the wrong one, I think.
David Bailey?
No, it's L-E-Y, right?
It says he's away. Unable to reach. Hey.
Skype hates my life.
Yeah.
Great,
So,
now we
fuck
can't hear him.
Skype. We're in the shit list with this right now.
I'm honestly sure that. Hold on. Let me. So you're in. Just stay in your car for right now. Hold on. We are going to. I'm sure it's gonna be fine. So it's just not. Can you call him?
Oh.
His Skype's not working.
His Skype's not working. All right.
Or do you just want me to call him on this and put him through, and then they? I don't know how that will sound though. With him.
No, just hey DJ, just stay where you are. Just like stay in your car. This is just gonna have to do.
No, that's fine. Hold on, give me 1 second.
Why does he sound all echoey? Where'd you
Hold
just go?
I'm in an echo place.
He's back in his office.
Did you go back to the bathroom, dude?
No. Am I echoing here?
Yes.
Okay, 1 second.
It sounds like you just walked into a dungeon, dude.
It's
creaky
How about now?
metal
How about
door.
now?
It's
Stop
Bill
talking.
Belichick's.
Stop talking.
It's Bill Bel. It's
How about now?
Better.
That's better.
Okay.
It's Bill Belichick's dungeon.
Yeah, it's called Seven Rings.
It's called Six Rings. Well, he's got 7. You're right.
Yeah.
Because he won one with the Giants.
Yes, he did.
He is the Super Bowl master. He has all the Super Bowls. Or the Super Bowls.
The bowels of soup.
The bowels of.
All right, so what's our who's our sponsor? Can it be that Jerry Jones?
Ew, why?
Not Jerry Jones. I don't know. I'm trying to think of something funny related to the Raiders.
How the
How
hell is Jerry Jones related to the
This
Raiders?
episode is brought to you by Al Davis's corpse. Just kidding.
Oh, by Mark Davis.
By Mark Davis. Unable to move his team anywhere.
Also, I have another thing. So Jerry Jones owns a construction company that builds stadiums. So his and it's called Legends. So his company is going to be the one building the new Raider Stadium. So this is another reason.
Dude,
why?
oh my gosh, that tinfoil hat
isn't just on. It's getting too tight because it's cutting off
No,
blood flow to your
this isn't
brain.
tinfoil. This is straight facts that are just facts and facts. And why did the
Wait, the fact that you just said it as if you know that he will be building the stadium. You just said that's a fact. Is that a fact? If I look that up, it will tell me that Jerry Jones has offered to build the stadium for the Raiders.
No, he's not offering to build anything. The taxpayers are paying for it.
Wait, well then what does Jerry Jones have to do with it? I'm confused.
He's building. We're building a wall.
This goes to the fact that it's going to happen because what Jerry wants, Jerry gets. That's how it happened in L.A. Jerry Jones said, I'd rather go with Kroenke, and they went all with Kroenke.
DJ, we just got a message in the chat. You're gonna love Space Cowboy. He just said, "Shouldn't the Browns logo be a trash can?" LOL, JK.
And then he also did say that we can also be sponsored by the Roaches that are holding up Oakland Coliseum.
Yeah, let's do it. Thank you, Space Cowboy.
Yeah, we're gonna do that. Tell him we're gonna do that. But also, DJ's gonna find out where you live.
DJ's gonna find out where you live and give you some popsicles.
Are we on Facebook Live yet?
No.
Are we gonna be able to do that?
Let's go on. Yeah, we can.
Are we doing it from your phone?
Yeah.
Huh.
Yeah, because I couldn't figure out how to do it. I don't think I can do it from both places at once.
Okay.
Live video.
Oh, do you need a holder?
Yeah, let's get a holder. 2 birds. So we'll pretty much start the moment we do this.
That work?
Yeah, that works.
You might need to flip it over the other way.
Yeah.
Because the camera's on that side.
No, I know.
So guys, I don't know about Hank. I don't know if Hank's had any experience at Raider games or anything like that.
I have. I've been to a Raider game.
Yeah,
Okay.
remember he said some guy was opening a can of beans with a knife and he thought he was going to stab him.
Yeah.
Okay, but I guess this is kind of Hank. You're from the Bay Area, so I know you have some sort of like love for the Raiders, right? Like something like it's just kind of always been there. But I think we should start off by explaining what the situation is, where it started. I mean, we can get into where it started later on, but just kind of give a brief synopsis of what all transpired, so people are up to date on what we're talking about. And then after that, we can go ahead and do like our own personal experience with the Raiders. Josh has had a lot. I've had a lot. Very interesting sides. So, what do you guys think?
No, I think that's a good idea.
So, who wants to fill everybody in? You want me? Hank, did you like to fill everybody in on what's going on? Or
Yeah, I can do that.
Okay.
All right. So we are going to begin right now. We are live. Welcome to the 2 Birds and a Third mini cast. This is like a Raiders special. This episode is brought to you by the Roaches holding up the Oakland Coliseum. We've got DJ, Josh, and myself. This is Hank, and right now we're just gonna start off this by discussing, like, I guess we're gonna talk about what the Oakland Raiders mean to us.
Well, we're going to talk about kind of everything. We're going to talk about this, we're going to talk about, is it for sure going to happen? Because DJ's in the belief that it's absolutely a for sure done deal. He's got some points he wants to bring to us. We're going to talk about, what the Raiders in the Bay Area mean to us. We're going to touch on a lot of points right now. DJ, I know you have been wanting to talk about this all day. So why don't you let us know your feelings and why you're so adamant that this is a 100% we're going to make the move kind of thing.
Well, I mean, first off, I'm not 100%. I'm definitely in the 90 percentile, certain that it's going to happen. I mean, it's just where this all started as just a post online or another article that came out, and to where we are now is pretty insane. The reason why I wanted to talk about this, and I think everybody else here and everybody who's listening who is a Raider fan or has some sort of experience with the Raiders. I mean, it gets kind of personal because you grow up with a team that's always been there, and you have family members that have been season ticket holders for a while, and they're diehard Raider fans. The whole Raider Nation is so diehard because what they've had to go through the past 14 years, and they finally get a little bit of, light at the end of the tunnel, and then here we go again, gonna go move. I think we're all going to kind of touch briefly on how the Raiders have affected us. I don't want to make this seem like it's a somber time.
But you totally are, though. You're 100% convinced. I think we also need to make some points, DJ, that they still have to vote. The owners still have to vote. The Raiders still have to come up with, whatever the money is. But total, it's like a $1.3 billion adventure going on right now. So you're going to have to break that money down. I know they get the relocation fee. They're getting $325 million from the NFL, and then what'd you say? Bank of America was going to offer $600 million, and then they have another $185 million coming from hotel taxes.
There's another. I guess there's a $200 million on the back end of the deal once it happens. That's going to come through from another source. I haven't found out what that source is, but. I mean, we're totaling over $1.3 billion in public, investments. So basically, the taxpayers are going to flip the bill on this thing. But we'll get into that later. Good points, Josh. Good points. But I think right now, let's just go ahead and talk about experience. And Josh, I know you for one, you like the Raiders, even though you are a Ravens fan, and me as well as being a Browns fan. I've been to more Raider games than I have Browns and Niner games combined. So, Josh, go ahead and fill us in on your experience.
Well, I've obviously gone to a lot of Raiders games. My dad is a diehard fan. I've been going ever since I was a kid. I love it, but I think that they are incredibly ingrained in Oakland. I mean, you saw what happened when they left down to LA, how upset the city was, I think when you make a move like this, you're gonna break the heart of a lot of Raiders fans, and I think you're gonna lose a lot of fans. And mind you, you're moving to a city, Las Vegas, that doesn't really have established fan bases. Like, what is Las Vegas built of? Well, it's built of mostly hotels, casinos, a lot of tourism traffic. But that's the thing. Like, why do you want to host a home game in a city like Los Angeles where people are gonna make excuses to travel there to go see their team in Las Vegas? I just don't see a home field advantage. I mean, there's a lot of things that I don't see working in Las Vegas more than I don't see working in Oakland. I wouldn't trust, you're going to draft a kid who's 21, 22, coming out of college, throw him in the city of Las Vegas and say, oh, but behave, you got to always come to practice. That's going to be, I don't think it's a good environment for an NFL team to be located. You have to build a dome stadium, but because otherwise it's too hot.
Well, you don't have to build a dome stadium.
Okay, but here's the thing:
You do.
Somebody's gonna die of heat exhaustion in an outdoor stadium.
But there aren't any dome stadiums in LA though.
No,
or you're talking
in Vegas.
Yeah, of course
Yeah,
you're gonna have to build a dome stadium in Vegas.
There's a reason why there aren't any sports teams in Vegas. Mm-hmm. Could you imagine, like, Aldon Smith is technically still on the Raiders, but you imagine Aldon Smith having to deal with in Vegas? I mean, That's just a recipe for disaster, and that goes for every other team that comes into play. The Oakland Raiders they have to stay there for an amount of time, and man, that's a whole field advantage for the Raiders if they get used to that. But
it's like playing in New Orleans during Mardi Gras, 365 days or whatever, at 4 months a year, and more because you're gonna have players living there. Me personally, I don't understand. Like, from an economic standpoint, I don't understand. Well, like you said, the city of Oakland might not have enough money to raise in order to keep the team, but the NFL at this point should have incentive to keep the Raiders in Oakland, because the Oakland Raiders are gonna be a good team for at least what looks like the next 10 years. I mean, you've got a rookie, or not a rookie quarterback, but you've got a young quarterback in Derek Carr who is looking like he is in the mold to be Aaron Rodgers 2.0 when it purely comes to style of play. You've got guys like Khalil Mack bolstered up the defensive line. They've got a good O-line. They've got great receivers. They've got what looks like great management and great coaching. It's a recipe for a team that is going to be good for a while. The ticket prices are going to go up. I don't understand why you wouldn't want to keep them there. Why you wouldn't do that? Bringing them to LA, that's not going to happen because there's already 2 teams in LA. You've got teams in Texas, or you were going to do San Antonio. They're not going to Texas anymore. Las Vegas just seems like a city where you're not going to get a lot of sports fans. People go to Las Vegas to get wasted. People go to Las Vegas to have bachelor and bachelorette parties. People want to lounge by the pool. People want to gamble. People don't want to go to football games.
And that's another thing. That's the business model of a casino, is to keep you on the property. And they're seeing
and I've made that point before too, DJ. Exactly. Casinos, everyone thinks, oh well, they can do a package deal. Why would casinos want you to leave where you are for? I mean, honestly, how long is a football game?
3 hours.
It's almost a 4-hour adventure, 5 hours if you want to go and tailgate and stuff. Well, I guess, and see, that's another thing.
Unless
you can't really, how are you going to visit Las Vegas and tailgate? You're not going to go out and buy a grill, buy all this stuff just to go tailgate in the middle of a parking lot in the middle of a desert?
Yeah, unless the stadium doubles as a casino.
Yeah, but
that's the only way.
Or else the building has no use for
anything else. I mean, I guess you could do big concert venues there. I mean, with any stadium, you can obviously get things there other times of the year.
That's true.
But to me, just like from a fan base perspective, DJ, I really just don't think it would be a fun experience. Like I mean, I love the Raiders. I've gone to so many Raiders games. I went to the playoffs at V game they went to the year they went to the Super Bowl. You know, I've seen some incredible Raiders games, but I don't even think I would be excited about going to Las Vegas to see a Raider game.
Because you're missing part of your childhood, dude.
Yeah,
I don't get the tailgating, which was like the biggest thing. When we go see a Raider game, an afternoon game, we leave my house at like 8 o'clock in the morning. It is an all-day event for us, and going to Vegas and doing that's gonna take away the event aspect of it. It almost just seems like
parking ticket prices are just gonna jet up like that because.
And then
I find that I don't know what real estate prices are in Las Vegas, but I mean, you gotta understand Las Vegas is there are areas in which they can make into a stadium. They've got that's the thing about Vegas. There's wide open areas and spaces. So you could probably think that it's going to be I mean, when we're just talking about like the positives of them going to Vegas, the real estate's got to be cheaper there. There's just wide open spaces, you know? I think that's the biggest issue is like can't find a place to put it.
But no, because that whole area, right off of 880 in Oakland, where the Coliseum sits right now, there is so much land around there too.
No, you're right.
That is easily. I mean, if you drive to a Raiders, have you been to a Raiders game lately?
Not lately, but in the last 5 years.
DJ, you've seen it. All the closed down buildings around that area. That's totally. I mean. It's not unrealistic. I think the NFL should just invest in that area, and then the NFL holds that land.
That's true,
because then the NFL will always have an asset in the Bay Area. What is it? The second or third biggest market in the entire nation?
But you have to also understand that prices, the price of buying that land is just
astronomical.
It's so high.
Well, then
but I totally agree with you. I want like. It's also like a part of my childhood that's just like because I've always known I'm not a Raiders fan. I watch the Raiders on Sunday when they're on, and the Eagles aren't playing, but I've never seen them anywhere else, really. I mean, I started watching football when I was like 5 years old, 6 years old, and they were in Oakland.
Yeah.
And every time they've moved, they've come back in like the next 10 years.
Yeah.
And you guys, go ahead, Josh.
No, you go ahead, DJ. Go ahead.
So, I mean, that just brings up, to the personal aspect of it. I mean, for me, it goes pretty far. I mean, Grandma's been a Raider fan. Mama Pat.
Mama Pat. She's been a season ticket holder for what, like 40 years?
40 years. Even when they went, I mean, she didn't go to obviously L.A. or anything like that. But
right.
When they were here, she had season tickets. And man, I was such a little brat when I was a little kid. Everybody in the house was all Raider fans, and little old redheaded DJ wanted to be a Niner fan.
Little redheaded DJ.
Did you want to be a Niner fan because their jerseys matched your hair?
Oh, well, pretty much. And, I was pretty much. I was basically omitted from the family at that point. I was a stepchild, but
he was the redheaded stepchild.
Set yourself up.
To my grandma's credit, though, her taking me to all those games, as much as I like to fake hate that I was there, I was super appreciative, and I've always had love for the Raiders, as much as I hate to admit that, but it's there, and it was built by, generational fans, and you're going to lose that if you go to Vegas.
Right, you're not going to have you're going to have to
go into the games.
Yeah, you're going to have to rebuild that. It's like you're going to have to.
Who's going to go to a game in Vegas? Huh?
Right?
Who's going to take their kid to? I mean, there's so much unknown. The NHL just got an expansion team that's going to start there next year, and you're going to. I mean,
wait,
you're not even going to wait to see how that plays
in an
out.
arena.
Yeah,
and arenas, like I said, arenas are great because you see how many things happen at SAP Center right down in San Jose.
A bunch of stuff.
An arena, the Oracle Arena, you can get so much money off of that in revenue, but a football stadium isn't the same. Like, they don't host nearly as many things at Levi's or the Oakland Coliseum as they do at Oracle and SAP. You know what I mean? Like,
ridiculous, man. I mean, you have the people that go to play shows in Vegas are playing them at the casinos. And the casinos are sure as hell not going to let anyone else take their money from that. And so you're going to have a stadium that's used 4 months out of the year and basically be vacant unless you find some outside source to come in. And
okay, so DJ, let's talk about numbers here. How many votes do you need to pass to get it approved to move?
Is this like Congress 2/3?
I think it's 24.
It's 24 votes out of 32 teams, right?
I do believe so.
So that means that 8 or 9 people have to deny. 9 people have to deny the vote for it not to move, right?
Yep.
Dude, there's easily 9 owners that won't let it move. I can name 2 off the top.
Do you think Jed York wants the Raiders in Oakland?
The Chargers.
Probably not. But Jed York's one guy.
I know.
He's one. What?
But can you? Which ones do you think would want to block it? Like he's saying, Jerry Jones would want to block it because he would want to build He would want to build it in Vegas, right?
You know what Jerry wants, Jerry gets.
I know.
Look what happened with the Rams.
When he wants himself some glory hole, he gets some glory hole.
You think Jerry Jones is gonna go for it for them to move?
Oh, completely. And then
okay, do you think? Okay, let's think of owners that don't want it to happen.
Well, there's
the Ravens probably will block it. The
teams that don't, there are teams that are probably strongly against it, and probably teams or owners that don't care, that wouldn't. I mean,
exactly.
Yeah, that
doesn't matter. To
them.
What I'm trying to say, guys, is you guys are trying to say that it takes 24 to make it pass.
Yeah.
And you guys keep saying, "Oh, well, this person might." No, think about it. All we need is 9 people not to want it to pass. That's what I'm trying to say. Realistically, there's probably 9 owners out there that don't want the Raiders to move.
There could be, but there also might not be. I don't know their self-interest,
I think that what the NFL is just such a greedy bastards that look at what the Niners did. They did not sell out their stadium at all, but they made money hand over fist They're
Did
one
they?
of the most profited
No,
years in the Niner franchise.
Really?
And
I thought the city of Santa Clara was actually going to audit the 49ers because they weren't making as much money as they said they were because the stadium wasn't selling out at all. You have to pay like $100 to park in the tailgating section. And so like no one's coming to the games anymore. I'm pretty sure that they're not the most profitable year they've ever had, DJ. I'm pretty sure it was one of the worst.
No,
Well,
I think he means like
Yeah.
straight out of the fact that this like concessions are high.
So that's what I'm saying. It's
and
not
stuff
just
like that.
based on tickets.
It's not like
But-
based off of tickets completely.
But you're
But-
talking about when, well, I mean,
Because other teams' fans,
well, and then here's your
other
thing.
teams' fans went to those games.
Right.
too.
And here's the thing, DJ, though. Are you talking about one of the most profitable years for Levi's? Or are you talking about the most profitable year
Yeah, that's
for
true.
concessions in, because
You're
remember, you have to, when you read those reports, it can't just be most profitable year ever. Well,
No,
are you
no.
talking about
But
when it,
yeah, it's all combined as the 49ers franchise because they built it, so it's all under one roof.
well,
but-
I mean, I think that, aside from Jed York maybe not wanting the Raiders to move, but I think that there's a lot of people trying to keep the Raiders here too,
Yeah.
though, DJ. And
Yeah.
like, as much as you keep saying they're moving, I think you're just freaking out because you always do that.
I think
about things
what
and
DJ's doing. I think he's hoping for the best, but planning
expecting
for the worst.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I mean it's when Adelson pulled out, I was ecstatic. I'm like, oh cool, the guy who runs Vegas doesn't want the Raiders there, and I thought that would be a big enough thing to
Well, was
where
Adelson and Goldman Sachs pulled out?
oh Bank of America coming in saving the day.
I love that voice.
Oh God.
God.
Bank of America.
But DJ, honestly, I know you're planning for the worst and hoping for the best, but you also have to look at all the things that could keep the Raiders here. Like obviously, and I think this is at this point it's a grudge match between Al Davis and Oakland and kind of the NFL that it's like I gave you guys so long. He did 1-year leases to try to say like let's figure something out, and they never figured anything out for him. And I think at this point, Al Davis might just be acting a little bit bitter. Or
Mark Davis.
yeah,
Mark
Mark
Davis.
Davis. Sorry, Mark Davis might
Al
be,
Davis is rolling in his grave.
Right. Al Davis is just sitting there like, oh my God, figure something out. Like, I mean, Al Davis, I don't think Al Davis would have ever been up for the idea of the Las Vegas Raiders. I don't think ever.
No, he actually wanted to.
He wanted to move back to LA, if anything.
Well, I think what Mark had said at one point that he'd always wanted to get the Raiders to Vegas. Like that was kind of a pipe dream for him, and that's why he kind of pushed more towards that. But that actually is a good segue into like what we think, or like you said before, Josh, like points on why they would want to stay or would make them stay. I think one good point would
they're
be
good.
that the NFL just made a huge investment in Inglewood with the Rams and the Chargers now. There's a big population of Raider fans in Southern California in general. And if the Raiders are going to go down to Vegas, I know it's still a long drive from LA, but I think
Well, that's what I don't think Stan Kroenke or what's his face for the Rams. Kroenke.
Yeah, Kroenke's the
And then
Rams.
who's the Chargers?
I don't know, some guy.
Well, whatever. I don't think either of them will approve the vote because, like you just said, DJ, it's only a 2.5-hour drive from
the
there.
Chargers.
It's only two
The
teams.
Chargers. Hold on. The Chargers and the Raiders will never be in the same city and be in the same division at the same time. That's just never gonna work. If one moved down and the other was still there, they would have to remove a team from the NFC West and make them a part of the AFC West so that one of those teams could be part of the NFC West.
I mean, you're telling me you're going to have 3 teams trying to battle out for that population?
No.
Yeah, for the
They're not
entire
doing that.
See, DJ, and you're talking about all of Arizona. Well, maybe not all of Arizona because they have the Cardinals, but a lot of
Maybe the Cardinals will deny the vote. That might be another.
Cardinals will deny the vote.
Oh, yeah.
There's even a Charger population. There's a Cowboy population.
Houston.
There's a no. You mean San Antonio?
No, he means
Houston.
Houston's
Houston.
a
There's a Texans. There is a they're. I mean, they're getting good. So
yeah.
you're telling me that the NFL is going to let 3 teams move in the same year?
That's what I'm saying.
To the same place.
That's one of the big things that I was trying to say too. Is that like that geographical region, you can't have 3 teams living that close to that area.
So Space Cowboy just said also Goodell denied Oakland $1.3 billion development plan for a new stadium because it wasn't clear or specific.
I was actually just going to bring that up. Thank you, Space Cowboy. I just read it. Yeah, so he's denying that because it literally they're just like, we need 1.3, and it kind of like this, but they need way more than just like, this is what we want kind of idea. They need specifics, you know, like they need to know, well, how long is it going to take to build? Where are you thinking? The land, the labor, they need all that kind of information, what's going into the stadium and everything like that. And if it's not specific enough, like I know they came out with those blueprints of the design. Yeah, it looks pretty from the outside, but then you have to think of the infrastructural like things that go into that. Building the concourses, building the bleachers, you know, wiring that entire place. All that stuff has to be in these plans because you can't just get it approved because those things sit for a long time getting approval, you know, through like city governments and stuff like that. Like those big projects, there's so many approvals that you have to get as you go through that. So here's the question. Whose fault is this?
Oh, yes. Who's to blame?
Who's to blame for this? I love to blame people.
I think it's mostly the NFL, followed closely by Oakland.
I blame Donovan McNabb, actually.
You would. No, I've been thinking about this in my head. Like, everybody started out by hating Mark Davis, but Mark Davis is actually between a rock and a hard place here. You can't get any funding from Oakland.
Nope.
Because, you know, and being that it's in, like, around Silicon Valley, you know, there's a lot of money floating around there. Oakland and Alameda don't really see a lot of that. So, I mean, if for them to pony up $1 billion for this, it doesn't make sense, mainly because they'll put everybody else in farther debt than they already are. And it's really tough because they do need a new stadium, and it seems like Oakland's chosen the A's over the Raiders at this point,
which doesn't make any sense to me.
Because
it
does make sense
on a competitive standpoint. I know it's the A's stadium, right?
Right. Yeah. So,
yeah.
So I mean, I think it has to be a tie between. I'll pass on Oakland. I'll sell Oakland being a blame in here. I'm gonna blame the NFL. Roger Goodell's a puppet. I don't listen to a word that man says.
It's the owners who run the NFL. It's all the owners behind the scenes.
He's a freaking puppet. He's a puppet head. Everybody knows this. So anything he says,
he's a puppet. He's a puppet to John Mara.
Oh yeah.
And I hate to say it, any Steelers fans out there, Rooney.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Those two guys run this league. Not to mention they run this league to the point where their kids have bred with each other. So there's actually a Rooney Mara. They're in the same family.
Wow.
It's like NFL royalty.
It's like Game of Thrones, DJ. You know, you're trying to combine the Starks and the Baratheons to make sure that you control everything.
I mean, this is such a big situation, and I hate to like move off on a tangent, but like you have situations where, I mean, Mara's allowed to control the league to the point where he's got players like being physically abusive towards their own wives, and he's just like, oh, let's just keep this on the down low.
Yeah,
let's push this down. But like this is a huge issue, and I'm sure both of those guys are gonna have something. I bet both of those guys have a share in this one way or another.
Yeah,
Mara and Rooney.
And you know, another point would be, I know there's a lease drawn up, but the lease hasn't been approved. There's nothing been bought. There's no land there. I mean, when Roger Goodell sits up there and tells me, it just didn't make sense. Nothing, it wasn't clear. Well, what's clear about this deal? It's straight up from the heavens, and there's really no way to like comprehend it because there's really nothing in place. Has the city of Vegas even voted on the $750 million?
Well, they're trying to put it in a hotel tax and everything like that, but I've heard there's been a lot of opposition at like, you know, at like the lower levels, people trying to say like that's a lot of extra money just to tax us on something that like they said they don't. It's something most of the people in Las Vegas probably don't even want. It's just another tourist attraction. Because the people who live in Vegas, they don't even live in like the downtown Vegas area where they're trying to put this. They live out in the
outskirts.
Yeah, they live in the suburbs. It's not even going to be anywhere probably close for any local person to go to this stadium. It's probably going to be a trek just to get to the stadium, and then you're going to have to drive through the crappiest parts of Vegas, the Strip, and I just logistically everything about it. I just hope it doesn't happen. I know, DJ, that it's very possible, but then at the same time, you see how the NFL is, and I really don't think that they're going to let 3 teams relocate within 3 years. That's
1 year.
Dude,
1 year.
Well, if it gets blocked right now and then they try to do it again, what I'm trying to say is, because remember, didn't San Diego want to move, not last year that the Rams moved, but the year before that, remember? San Diego was trying to move too, the whole Carson deal and everything. San Diego
was trying to move to Vegas?
No,
or
to LA.
Well, no. They were wanting to move at the same. They were vying for that movement at the same time as the Rams were,
right?
And they were thinking, well, we might put one in, but not the other. I mean, this is completely different from 10 years ago. I mean, 10 years ago, the 2 teams that were vying for a spot in LA were the Jaguars and the Saints.
Yeah,
because the Jaguars have always had issues with fan support showing up to the game, and the Saints just had Hurricane Katrina.
Yeah,
but
I mean, it's just I can't see this going through, and I actually think that the NFL needs to put some sort of stop. Like, you need to put more sanctions on this. Like, you can't just, because you're charging these cities like so much money to redo stadiums and stuff like that. Like, what's going to say that a team that just spent almost $500 million redoing their stadium and vamping it up, and then a couple years later, some greedy owner's like, oh, well, we want to move. Now the taxpayers' dollars just went to waste because you just spent all that money. Like, you have to realize that this not just about the owners or the NFL team. These kind of things affect cities as a whole. This would affect the city of Oakland. Think about how many jobs will be lost. Not only, because here's the thing, not only are the Oakland Raiders thinking about moving, the Golden State Warriors are definitely moving from that area. Yep. So, I mean, you're talking
2 teams in 3 years.
Dude, you're talking about a huge revenue, and I mean, they're going to try to keep the A's in Oakland, but they've already said that Walnut Creek, Emeryville kind of stuff, you could still keep the same amount of fans and do something over there. So you just never know, and I can't see like the entire city of Oakland losing all of that. I think the city of Oakland's going to try to Libby Schaaf said she's going to try to come up with a plan. So
where do you think?
Yeah, but Libby Schaaf is willing to lose the team. She said that already. She's not going to put up the taxpayers in debt more. I mean, just the tax that's going to be involved in this is going to be ridiculous.
Where do you if they can't play in Oakland and they want to stay in the area, where do you think they're going to play?
Fremont?
A logical one would just be up in the North Bay, a little bit farther up, would be Berkeley. I thought would be a good one.
Well, what about in Fremont, DJ? Have you ever driven up 880? Like,
wait, no, I was talking about for relocation
for like a actual football stadium that's already there.
Oh, that's already there.
Yeah. So, and here's the the kicker is he really gonna go play in the stadium if this passes? And is he really going to play 2 more years at Oakland? And
well, DJ, I asked you that question the other day, and I brought up the fact when the Houston Oilers moved to Tennessee, they announced the move and played in Houston for like 2 more years. Yeah. And players from back then were saying there were more visitor fans in our seats than there were Houston Oilers fans.
I mean, they didn't become the Tennessee Titans until like 1996, 1997. They were still the Tennessee Oilers.
Yeah, they used
which made no sense because
Tennessee.
But here's the thing with Mark Davis, and this I think this puts fans in an awkward position because the team's really good, and Mark Davis knows that the team's really good, and Raider fans are one of the most, if not the most diehard fans in there. I have to put them up there with the Browns and the Raiders because of how terrible we've been. But in the light, he knows that people are going to still come and watch the team play. I mean, he's been with the Raiders all his life. even when they were downright terrible, there was still a lot of fans there.
Oh yeah. I mean, I went to a ton of games after they lost in the Super Bowl. I went to so many games during the last 12, 15 years.
The dark ages of the Raiders?
Dude, the dark ages of the Raiders. I went to Hank and I were at the same game,
but
where Nick Foles threw 7 touchdowns against the Raiders. I was still there.
We didn't know each other though.
Yeah.
And I just think that Raider fans have actually had enough. There's obviously going to be that small select group that will stick with them and go. But there's still a lot of people I've been talking to that are just that are around Oakland, who live in Oakland. I think it's going to be more concentrate in Oakland that are just going to say, screw it. I'm not burning the jersey, but I'm selling the jersey.
Dude, it's just you would break so many hearts, and it would literally be a complete and utter, not just one middle finger, it would be a double middle finger to all the fans who have stuck with them when they moved down to LA and then came back, all the fans that stuck with them through all of that, you know.
It's true.
It's tough to fathom that, something that's been instilled in our lives this long. Well, I mean, as change happens, sometimes for the better, sometimes for the worse, but
right.
This just seems like an unnecessary change when you got a good thing going here. You got the best fans in the NFL as well. I mean, okay, it's one of going to a Raiders game is one of the best experiences I've ever had. Is going to tailgating
an Oakland
is second to none there.
Oh my gosh, absolutely. Everyone's friendly, and I'll tell you this right now. Even though the Oakland fans get a bad reputation, I've been to so many games where an opposing team is set up by our area in tailgating. Everyone's so friendly, Hey, I hope your team doesn't win, but at the end of the day, everyone's a football fan, and I see everybody, sharing food. You're cooking. Hey, come take a shot of tequila. All right, well, you come over here and take a shot of whiskey. Everyone's just being that. I think, we'll see. Well, we'll be able to have a better update this week when we do our full podcast on Thursday. But for right now, we can just hope. We can just hope that that they stay here. That's all we can hope for.
The only people that get thrown off balconies there are 49er fans that are too loud and too chatty.
Oh,
so I mean, there's reasons that
Well, you had the black hole, like the stereotypically on the West Coast. I mean, like my fan base is considered. We're considered like the worst fans in football by like
you guys threw snowballs with rocks at Santa.
No, it's just snowballs. But that was like
there were some rocks in there.
But here's the thing. That was in like 1967.
No, I know.
And why the hell are there rocks in a freaking stadium?
But here's the thing. It was like 1967, and like everyone says, oh, you guys were really bad back then, but like meanwhile they get on us for that kind of stuff, but they don't count our NFL championships that occurred 7 years before that.
It's just
I will say that our fans are pretty bad. Like you can look back and you can see instances where Eagles fans were throwing snowballs with batteries. There's something called the Bounty Bowl. They threw snowballs with batteries at Cowboys players back in like 1989 or 1990. Buddy Ryan once put out a bounty on Jose, or was it Zendejas? One of the Zendejas brothers and Troy Aikman. But the thing is, it was always the Raiders fans were like bad news, basically. Like not in a violent standpoint, but in a fact that if they lost they riot, if they win they'd riot. But then when the Raiders started becoming really bad, and the Niners started to become really good, the Niners fans started gaining like the reputation of we're the badasses.
Right.
Nobody's screwing with us.
Right.
Nobody, if you come to our stadium, we'll beat you up in the bathroom. You know what I'm saying? But then when the Niners start starting to suck again, I don't know if the stereotype for Raiders fans now that the Raiders are becoming good is going to become, they're going to be the rowdy bunch again. But I hope they don't.
I think the good thing is that they were bad for so long, but their base was so just like those Raider fans. I mean, I went to games that they weren't sold out, but there were definitely plenty of people there. So I think now that they're better, you're still going to get a lot of people who, still went to the games and stuff like that. So
I mean, I always tell this story about how I went to the Nick Foles 7-touchdown game, and I was treated very, Raiders fans were awesome, but I was going down a row of tailgaters, and I think I told this story in one of our earlier episodes. This guy takes out a knife, and I'm wearing my Brian Dawkins jersey. I'm 23, 24 years old. I'm like, oh, I'm dead. And then he takes out a can of baked beans and starts cutting the can open. I was like, oh, thank God. He's just eating beans.
Did he stare you down when he was opened up the beans?
I thought he was, but apparently maybe he was just looking past me. I mean, of course, when you're a visiting fan, you're walking down tailgaters from other teams. Of course, they're gonna boo you. Of course, they're gonna be like Raiders,
right?
None of that really. What?
I was about to say to add on to that. I got a story here that is with my grandma. Like I said, she used to take me to the games and everything. And when I was little, she didn't want me going to the bathroom by myself. The Raiders' bathroom hasn't been redone in probably 40 to 45 years.
Oh, it's one of the only places I've seen that you still pee in literally a giant trough. There's not urinals there. No, it's just a big metal container. It looks like oil barrels were cut in half and then stuck on a wall, and that's what you pee in. Literally, that's all it is.
Picture this. My grandma, walking me into the men's bathroom. So so just imagine that. This little kid getting walked in by her and the only thing I remember is just this drunk guy who was just peeing over on the ground, and then he was just peeing. And waving it all around everywhere for everybody to see. And that's why I love my grandma. Because I would have been scared out of my mind.
Wait,
but the worst.
Tell the porta potty story.
Oh, God.
Okay, so the top two worst experience that happened. That's not even a bad experience. So I was wearing my Browns jersey, and fierce rivalry between the Browns and the Raiders during the last 10 years because fighting for last place is always. So I'm just walking down, and all of a sudden, there's a long line for the porta potties. So I'm walking in the back of the line, and all of a sudden, I hear behind me, just if it was in a wave, but in sound form, people booing all the way down there and all the way back. And I'm sitting in the porta potty line, just getting crapped the whole time. But the worst experience that I had was when I was with my dad, and I had my Browns jacket on, and we're walking, and a group of guys come up and say, hey, you're lucky you're with your dad. And I'm 8 years old at the time, so I mean, that kind of thing you just brush off your shoulder. It's not really. It's just it's chatter. That's all it is. I'm pretty sure the guy wasn't going to deck an 8-year-old. If he was, then he's got some issues.
I was about to say, then he's probably going to deck an 8-year-old whether it's you or not. I mean, if he's willing to do it, he's going to do it eventually.
Whether it's you or if it's some kid.
Next week's home game, whatever.
He sees this kid walking home from school, just going to deck him. He looks like that redheaded Browns fan.
He looks like that redheaded Browns fan.
God, he just irks me.
Well, DJ, we'll be able to have a better update. We'll see what happens. They're doing the vote tomorrow, correct?
Well, I think what's actually going to happen, I don't think they're going to actually vote on Monday. I mean, there's a lot of information that's going to be presented on Monday. Will it be enough time for them to garner a decision, or have they already made a decision? So if they've already made their decision, they're going to vote Monday. If they don't vote on Monday, I actually see a better chance of it not getting passed, because obviously there was some hang-up that Jerry Jones couldn't fix right away. So I hope to God they don't leave, because more for my grandma and my mom, basically my whole family.
Yeah. Well, what about my family and me?
Well, your family too.
What about my grandma?
Your dad seems like a little bit. All right. So, Josh,
what about my grandma?
You're Philadelphia. Oh, wait, she's a Raider fan, your grandma?
No.
But,
well, they want you.
DJ, I don't even know if they're gonna vote, because I'm reading an update right here, and it seems like, because remember the Oakland the Oakland Athletics have a New York hedge fund group that's going to help them where the Coliseum is. What happens if since the what are they called? The Warriors are leaving. What happens if they knock down Oracle and build a baseball stadium right next to a football stadium? Almost like they have.
They would probably build the football. Would it be a football stadium? Would the one that stays be a football stadium or a baseball stadium?
I think the one that
you gotta blow them both up.
No, you gotta. Yeah, Hank. I was about to say you gotta start from scratch with both of them. I mean, that Coliseum that they've tried to redo the Coliseum, you can't. Like the infrastructure of that is totally gone.
So
you're gonna have to demolish it.
They're just gonna bomb it, like boom, boom, boom.
You're gonna
boom,
drop that thing in on itself. Yep, you're gonna drop that thing in on itself.
Take a giant crap inside.
And then just rebuild. But I mean, there's so many. DJ, you've been to. There's so many parking lots and areas around there that it really wouldn't be that bad. Even if you put two stadiums right next to each other right there, there's still so much going on there. And remember, that is one of the best sites for public transportation because that BART station will literally drop you off and you walk across a 200-foot bridge and you are walking into the stadium.
Yeah, and a lot of like franchises do that have like multiple sports in. I mean, Philadelphia has the arena. They have Citizen Banks Park, Lincoln Financial Field. It's like a tripod right in there.
Baltimore has the Ravens Stadium, M&T Bank, and then Camden Yard is like right there. Yeah.
Yeah. So a lot of teams have that.
Yeah.
It's definitely possible. I could see that happening. I guess we could kind of go on to like, hey, good news now. They're staying. How are they going to do this? Obviously, the thing in question is the A's. The A's would have to either, I mean, like you guys said, maybe a baseball stadium and a football stadium, but I don't think that can coexist. I think they're going to want to do. Remember that back in the day they were talking Fremont, like right.
Yeah, they were talking Fremont for the A's.
Fremont was for the A's because there's. Right before the Fremont Auto Mall, there's this giant, huge swath of land that's just grassy and pretty flat, and it would honestly probably be perfect. I think they were just saying they wanted it. The only problem was it was across from where BART was or something like that. But anyways, you could make it work there. But
I mean, Space Cowboy just said, he said, if I was able to draft a plan, I would buy the land for the Oracle Arena and build a stadium there. Keep the Raiders in the Coliseum till construction is done. Then let
the A's build their new Coliseum.
Yeah.
That sounds like a plan.
Well, because remember the best thing about that is the Oakland Coliseum, even though it's absolute garbage right now, held up by roaches. You can play both sports in it. So while you're building another stadium, you don't have to really move the other team. You know what I mean?
Gordon Ramsay would call it absolute bullocks.
Yeah.
Yeah, they've been doing that for how many years now? So,
right.
I mean, what's another 2 years of that?
Exactly.
And then there's another thing. I mean, I think this gentleman, Ronnie Lott, is the biggest advocate for the Raiders right now because he's well respected amongst
Four Fingers Lott.
All the owners. So I mean, yeah, but
no, I mean, I think that's what they need. Like, I'm not an advocate for them moving because I would say that I'm like more of a traditionalist.
Me too.
I'm like one of those people who someone will be like, "Oh, change the name of the Washington Redskins because it's racist," and I'd be like, "Oh, you just ruined my whole childhood" or something like that. But yeah, it's a quandary.
We'll see what happens, CJ. Like I said, it sounds like the reports coming out right now, it's going to be off the table for at least this year.
Yeah, they'll be here next year.
What's going on right now? Yeah, Roger Goodell said this. At this date, there remains no clear proposal regarding the site, how it will be developed, the nature of participation by Fortress or other parties, or what approvals are in place for development.
Or in other words, I'm a giant poo-poo head.
Jeez Louise, you just contradicted yourself, man. It's like a freaking robot that's just being programmed to implement whatever Jerry Jones wants, or it's annoying. It's not helpful. He's not a living, breathing commissioner. He'd rather get people from deflated balls.
See, DJ, here's the thing, man. Don't worry. When Philadelphia hosts the draft, we will be sure to boo Roger Goodell during each one of our picks. Don't worry.
I understand that. I hope you just keep booing him the whole time.
He doesn't care. He doesn't It's like he doesn't understand. It's like he gets booed, but like because we know that Roger Goodell, he's like the opposite Midas touch.
Yeah.
Like everything he touches turns to poop.
It just
Well,
turns to coal.
The people that are booing, all the people that are booing, he's like, yeah, just look at my $30 million paycheck.
Exactly. I think it's $45 million now.
Well, anyways, DJ, I think we should honestly, it needs to be figured out real quick, because who this is really gonna hurt in the immediate right now is the team of Oakland. These players are stuck in this turmoil of, are we moving our lives? Are we changing? Are we gonna have to focus on buying homes in Las Vegas?
Yeah.
Coming up here, are we
That's
dude?
awful.
You
think
yeah,
Derek Carr wants to be there?
dude. I mean, think about that.
He's played his whole life in California.
Yeah, he's living. I mean, it's so much on the players right now. I think the NFL needs to figure this out, because aside from the owners, but once again, they're probably not thinking about the fans or the players. They don't care. They don't care. But for all of our sakes, can they just get it figured out quick, so the Oakland Raiders can focus on football and not focus on relocation, and we can just go back to enjoying the sport and being excited about the offseason, considering that they just went 12-4. So
yeah. Well, I was always thinking, hey, why not Derek Carr step up and say something? What's Mark Davis going to do to the franchise quarterback? There's no way in hell he's getting traded. They're not going to pay him any differently.
That would be the dumbest. That would be the dumbest thing since trading John Gruden to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
Stop it! Stop it!
Don't bring up bad memories, dude.
Sorry.
I'm
just saying.
That's what I'm saying. What if he did stand up and say something?
What if he made a campaign?
Not campaign. He doesn't even do that.
Well, here's the thing, DJ. Here's the thing. Remember when the Browns moved back in 1995? Who was the biggest advocate for them staying? Jim Brown. Yeah. And they didn't listen to Jim Brown.
Well, it's because Art Modell is.
Well, it was also a different situation, because Mark Davis wants to stay in Oakland, and Art Modell wanted to move to Baltimore.
Oh yeah, he had these plans for a long time. Well, Cleveland's doing well. This is the thing, because Cleveland didn't give the funds for it. They were in a recession. They could back that.
Well, and here's the worst part: is that if they move, they won't get the Cleveland deal. They won't get to keep the name of the Raiders in Oakland. That's the worst part. You're just gonna have to start from scratch.
And then why?
Just like the Houston Texans did. You're gonna be a Houston Texans franchise.
Exactly. Why would the Raiders want to be called the Raiders if they weren't in Oakland or LA?
Right.
They'd have to be called like the Oakland or the Las Vegas Gamblers or something like that.
Like, oh yeah, like the XFL, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like what would incentivize the Raiders being the Raiders,
right?
If they weren't in somewhere in California, somewhere in northern or southern California,
right? Or near an ocean, huh?
Yeah, because they're the Raiders. The Raiders are like pirates. They're like pirates, but they're not like Buccaneers,
right?
Yeah.
They They're invaders. they're like pirate invaders. They're more like Somalian pirates, and a lot less like, I'm gonna put a little knife between my teeth because I'm like a gay pirate.
But I think all in all, I hope everybody enjoyed the podcast. I know we tried to be. I tried to be less somber than what I was thinking about. Try to look on the bright side. It's tough when this automatic awning that casts shade all over the Oakland Raiders right now is over us. But I hope in my heart that they stay. I know everybody who's here with me, Josh, Hank, we want them to stay. It's just going to be all up to really the NFL at this point.
Yeah,
the owners. It's all in their hands. It's all in their hands. Well, sorry we couldn't play our great game of buy or sell because this kind of took up most of the time. But again, thanks for listening for all you guys out there. Josh, Hank, everything to add there?
Yeah. I guess start out by, if you're watching this on Facebook or if you're listening to this on YouTube, Please like our Facebook page. We're Two Birds and a Third Football Podcast. We're on Facebook. We've got a couple dozen supporters, but we would gladly take more. And another shameful plug to Twitter. We're Two Birds. You can Two Birds and a Third, or our handle is Two Birds and Third with numbers, not letters. So if you want to listen to us and get updates from there, we'll gladly take you. I'm not gonna be like LeBron here and be like, hey, I've got this Sprite, but I'm not gonna tell you to drink it. No,
Go
I'm
follow
not like
us on
LeBron.
Twitter.
This is just follow us. Just do that stuff, because it'll be easier for us to get our messages out to you guys. And I mean, we're just kind of starting out, so
we'll update you guys as things come out. But we're also going to try to do another podcast coming up here on Thursday night. So everyone, if you guys could tune in, set your clocks, come on back and listen to us then. We're going to stream it live on YouTube here. And we're also going to try to do another Facebook live stream for everybody out there as well. So let's see. We're going to have some updates here. We'll see what happens in the meeting tomorrow, and we'll see what's going on. But thank you, everybody, for listening, and we'll catch you later on this week.
See you guys. Have a great day.
See ya.